Even in this mortal session in body's house, an aimless traveler between birth and death, even in his mortal session. So, at the moment, he is having a mortal session with her. He is going, changing from birth to birth, he is making a progress. Although it is a kind of a mortal session, it does not mean that he is mortal. He is still immortal. But he has accepted the conditions of change. And in that sense, it is a mortal session, the conditions of mortality. Even in his mortal session, in body's house, it is the body which will keep on changing, the base, the support. In other words, the suggestion is also that if at the moment he is having his mortal session with her, it is going to be tomorrow an immortal session with her. At the moment it is a mortal session, but the suggestion is also that it is going to be an immortal session also, you see. That is the indication, that is the implication of mortal session, you see. Even it is mortal session in body's house, and body's house, body which is subject presently to decay, disintegration and death. Decay, disintegration and death. These are the three processes by which the body disappears. First there is a kind of a weakening, there is a decay of actions. Then there is a disintegration of all the structural things there. Your knees are paining, your hands are paining, your chest is aching. All those things start happening. And then disintegration. And then finally there is a death, you see. You quit and then go away, you see. Even in his mortal session in body's house, body's house, well, the Indian scriptures, the Rig Veda, the Upanishad, the Gita, they speak of this body as a city with 9 gates or 11 gates. 9 gates. Navadvara, 9 gates. Navadvara, 9. The Gita speaks of Navadvara. There are 9 gates in our body, looking out. 2, 3, 4, 9. So there are Navadvara. The Upanishad speaks of 11 gates. Like that. The Rig Veda speaks of a body with gates. He doesn't specify number of gates, but does speak of gate. So our body is a body with so many gates outside, you see. What it means is that these gates mean we are looking only outward. Our projection is only outward. We are outward, seeing, smelling, not inward. So gate means it is a kind of window only to look outward, not within. So that is the body. And the body has to change. That the body should also start looking inward. These gates should also open inward and then bring out the truth of those things, you see. So that is why this mortal session is of that kind, you see, at the moment. But that must change now and become an aimless traveler between birth and death, you see. Yeah, he is an endless traveler. Well, the Rig Veda speaks of this this traveler between birth and death as Agni. Agni is the traveler between birth and death. Well, that is what happened. Well, in the mother's language, Ashyamadhu's language, it is a psychic being. It is a psychic being which goes from birth to birth, you see, continuously. He is a traveler. Traveler means he is also making constant progress. He is reaching goal after goal. A traveler means he is reaching destination after destination, goal after goal. He is a traveler, he is constantly progressing also. Ephemeral dreaming of immortality. Yeah, that is the dream. Ephemeral, but that is a short-living dream. Dreaming of immortality. See, because of him, there is a human aspiration constantly, and that aspiration is there right from the beginning. Aspiration for God, light, freedom, immortality. God, light, freedom, immortality. That is what the very first paragraph of the Life Divine says. The human aspiration is for God, light, freedom, immortality. That is constantly there, you see. Ephemeral dreaming of immortality. To reign, she spurs him. So she is prompting him. She is pushing him. Yes, yes, your aim is immortality. Amrutatva. Amrutatva. That is what you have to obtain, you see. You have to be that thing. To reign, she spurs him. So, she is doing a good job. And therefore, he has no hesitation in submitting himself to her completely. He becomes a slave because she is doing something wonderful to him. She is spurring him, she is taking him towards immortality. Ephemeral dreaming of immortality. To reign, she spurs him. He takes, yeah.
There is dot after him.
Which one, ephemeral?
No, after him there is a dot. Dot.
After him there's a dot, so it implies the end of a sentence.
The dot, where is the dot?
Him.
Him.
To reign.
To reign. Oh, dot, that's a full stop. Yeah, in fact, this is a full stop. Yeah, there are very few instances like that in Savitri. There are few. So actually, this is, in fact, these are two sentences. These are two sentences. These are two sentences. There are, that is one of the best examples. Very rarely, in other words, this is not really an end-stop line, an end-stop sentence. There are a number of instances. There are at least half a dozen sentences like that. In fact, the epilogue is full of that. The Book of Death is like that. So, but this is something which he wrote in the 1940s, in the early stages. Very rarely. He takes up her powers. Well, he has harnessed her to the yoke of her own law, obviously. Now, in other words, the whole process, he is a traveler, he is being taken towards immortality and all that kind of a thing. The entire process is what the Vedic, the Upanishadic prayer says. Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotir gamaya, mrityor ma amrutam gamaya. Asato, from truth, from falsehood to truth, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. That is the journey which is going on there. Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotir gamaya. Tamaso, from darkness to light, jyotir gamaya. Mrityo ma, from death to amruta, immortality. So that is the entire process which is being done. And he is spurring to that thing. So in fact, in other words, this is a kind of an elaboration of that prayer, the prayer of the Upanishad. Asatam ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotir gamaya, mrityor ma amrutam gamaya. Somebody wrote that prayer in his own handwriting and sent that piece of paper to Savitri. Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma. Savitri simply wrote below in Sanskrit, tathastu. Tathastu, let it be so. Savitri simply wrote there, tathastu, let it be so. See, let it be so, tathastu. See. Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Now, that is the story of the evolutionary process. But now a stage has come not to speak of asato ma sadgamaya, from darkness to light, but from light into darkness, from immortality into death, from falsehood into truth. In other words, what you are now attempting, what you are proposing is to bring truth and light and immortality into what is presently mortal and dark and false. In other words, from this point onward begins Savitri's yoga, the yoga of divine manifestation. Divine manifestation means what? Bring truth into falsehood. Bring, change it. Bring light into darkness. Bring immortality into what is mortal. That is the perspective. So it is the reversal of that consciousness, reversal of that prayer now, which has to be worked out, you see. So if we had to say, we should say the other way around now actually. Not asato ma sadgamaya, but from sat to false. Let it enter into that thing. And then Shivandu, which is yogic still say, tathastu. His face, yeah.
So does it mean that the process is reversed? He takes up her powers.
Now, at the moment, at this stage, at this stage, it is the process of evolution of growing towards it. He is there, out of inconscience is coming out, and when he is coming out fully, then all the divine possibility, divine potential, divine powers of manifestation have to enter into the inconscience. And whatever is locked in the inconscience, they have to emerge and express themselves as divine aspects, divine verities, divine truths. See, all those things are locked in the inconscience. How will they come out? Only when that thing enters into it, then they will start coming out. So that is the reversal, you see. The new yoga, Shivandu's yoga, the Shivandu Mother's yoga, proposes that. Not only proposes that, entire yogic work which they have done is for that. The yoga tapasya of theirs is for that to happen. Yoga tapasya. His face of human thought puts on a crown. So that is the progress only. Further. Now it has to happen, see. Puts on a crown, held in a leash, bound to her vague caprice. Yeah, well, at a moment the process things are happening in the inconscious, in the process of ignorance. So you have to submit yourself to nature. You are not really a free man. You are not really a free person. You are bound by nature. And whatever is happening to you, don't think that it is you who are doing. It is nature. Only that little aspiration which is there, that is yours. That is your freedom's choice, you see. Held in a leash, bound to her vague caprice, he studies her ways, if so he may prevail. He wants to prevail, he may prevail. Unless you really know her, how can you work upon her? Even for an hour. And she work out his will. Yeah. He makes of her his moment, passion to serve. He makes of her his moments, passions to serve. So he becomes the servant. He becomes the slave of her passion or whatever. You see, unless he submits himself, unless he hands himself over completely to her, she cannot mold him. So that is the kind of a surrender of the Purusha to Prakriti for his own good, for his own benefit. Because he has a kind of a conviction within him that whatever she is going to do she is going to do it for his good. For him she was made, lives only for his use. So that is the conviction he has, and therefore he has no hesitation, he is submitting himself to her, you see. For him she was made. You see, perfectly monosyllabic line. For him she was made, lives only for you. For him For him, she was made, lives only sponte. For Pirik, his use am. For him, she was made. So I got an anapes here. For him, well, this I will take as an am. For him, because there is a kind of a stress on him. You see. For him, she was made. Lives only for his use. But this his is not carrying a stress that. Whereas this him is carrying a kind of a stress on that emphasis. For him, she was made. Lives only for his use.